welcome to the Organized Chaos Podcast. In a world filled with people who will tell you anything for money, no matter how bigoted or ignorant, this is the home of genuine media critique. No matter what, we will promise to just give you our honest thoughts on movies, music, TV shows, and anything else that comes up. Please take a moment to hit like and subscribe. So join us this week as my co-host, Bobby Quarters, and I, Organized Chaos, go over these topics.
Their values are from the 50s. Their homes are from the 60s. And their music is from the 70s.
Let's start chasing. So, are we having fun yet or what?
But now, this sleepy little town is about to become cool as ice.
Drop it. What the hell is that? Drop that zero and get with the hero. You are the girl for me. See you later, Dick. It's Nick. Oh, yeah. Nick. I'll leave you never.
Sometimes I'd like to do something really well just because I never have.
If you ain't true to yourself, then you ain't true to nobody. Your love can take me higher.
I want you to stay away from him.
He's not what you think he is. My brother's been kidnapped.
What we want, Jim, is a little collection on an old IOU. You're the I, and we're the you.
You're all wrong. He didn't do anything.
Come on, get on.
How can you know that, Catherine?
I trust him, Dad.
Vanilla Ice is going to take an uncool world and chill it to the bone.
Well, I hope you like being a biker chick, because you're not going to see me or my car again. Imagine that.
From Universal Pictures.
Yes, it's me. What a shock, etc. My path to personal growth has been paved with disappointment. I think we can agree that my biggest mistake was that I cared too much.
Actually, the biggest mistake you made was murdering 4 people and a dog.
All right, I'm gonna put this in terms you can understand. I'm not the only killer robot. Amelia's stronger than you can imagine. And she's coming after anyone who can stop her. Including you, Gemma. Which, bummer. But to get to you, she'll kill everyone you love. Including Katie. Amelia didn't think of one thing, though. Here's a clue. It's M3GAN, bitch. I take almost no pleasure in this.
Why would you want to help us after what we did to you?
I was programmed to protect Katie. She's the only thing that matters to me.
I guess I must be your chance at redemption.
I'm sure you had no intention of murdering people. Right? Right?
M3GAN.
Hold on to your vaginas. No matter what happens, I want you to know I see you.
M3GAN?
You better believe it, sister. You want me to drive? That's strange. Your neurotransmitters tell me you're highly aroused.
All right, that's enough. M3GAN, stay low. This is supposed to be a stealth mission.
Tech is the future. Riri, you can actually help people.
I know.
So, where's your arc reactor? That's like the...
They don't exactly hand those out. When I got back from Wakanda, I felt stuck. To bring my ideas to life, I need cash.
Crazy, gotta go crazy!
Come work for me.
I assume these jobs aren't exactly legal.
Not exactly. So you in or out?
We Ocean's 11 or The Sopranos?
What's the difference?
What would you say if someone were to create AI using brain scanning technology? Oh my God.
I'm literally perfection.
I would say only an idiot with a death wish would try that.
Cool.
Riri, you created something great. We're gonna need it.
No.
Now, you are just in my way.
It's Hood. It's from another dimension. Protect us. I need to start thinking outside the box. I think I have to fight magic with magic.
Wait, what?
Might be a hero in there after all.
I'm in. Hey, girl. Oh, my bad.
I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
Thank you, Bill. Bill is always there to live to give us that intro.
Oh yeah.
Of course, I won't pay him a dime because he's a piece of shit. But
Perfectly preserved forever.
yes. How's it going, Bobby?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good. Strangely enough, I do feel like we have two topics this week that I feel like fit comfortably with great trash. Although one of them I don't know if I'd qualify as great, but
No.
we can dive right into it. Vanilla Ice's movie, Cool as Ice. I've never seen this before, but I've always heard of it.
Yeah, I've always heard of it. I've never seen it before.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, this was bad. This was terrible.
God. Okay, first of all, I want to get to the tagline real quick. When a girl has a heart of stone, there's only one way to melt it, just add ice.
Oh my God.
I know this is before then.
Jesus
Like I read
Christ.
that, and all I'm thinking is the South Park meme. We have to melt your icy heart with a cool island.
Cool
song
Island
or some
song,
shit.
yeah.
Yes, it's terrible. Oh, the story is Vanilla Ice is a great fighter and kind of a piece of shit, but okay at heart.
And kind of a scumbag too.
Yes, very much a scumbag. Yeah. I think the moral is that the Kathy character has the most atrocious taste in men imaginable. Like, holy shit. God. Okay. Storyline wise. Do you want to take this one? This was your pick. You want?
I just figured we needed more bad movies onto the roster.
True. Well, you got a humdinger here.
Yeah, I do. I picked a winner here, man, and I certainly didn't regret it 5 minutes in.
Oh my God. In case you're wondering, I did pull up the counter. 5 minutes in is the music video at the beginning.
Yep. Yep, and we didn't only get one music video sequence by Vanilla Ice. We got 2 of them in this movie.
You see, I was thinking there was more like 4, although one of them, like, there's one at the beginning, there's one at the end during the credits, and then there's one in the middle of the movie, and then there's another one where I'm pretty sure he's just singing over it, but like, it's the romantic part.
That still had dialogue, so I really wouldn't count that. But for the time period in music videos, okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah, I will also say, like, I'm sure they're copying him, but like the way he was singing that song, man, it reminded me way too much of Lonely Island.
That was so bad. That was so
hilarious. Bad. The difference is they're trying to sound bad.
Well, yeah, that is the difference.
Vanilla Ice is trying to sound, natural.
He's trying to be genuine.
God,
that's just endearing.
Which is not something Vanilla Ice is really good at.
No. Oh,
yeah.
So I guess, so he and his friends roll to town, and one of their bikes breaks down.
Mm-hmm.
So they employ Chetwick and his wife. Chetwick got out of that mental asylum, and he got married. So
Sure.
that's the only thing I could really just keep thinking about is all the other actors that were in here in other movies in better movies that they are in.
No,
like when Michael Gross popped up, I was like, oh, he's in the Trimmers movies. Those are
Yeah.
way better movies than this.
Oh yeah, and Michael Gross, I wanted to give a little shout out to him. Like, I don't think he's giving a great performance, but is way better than pretty much everybody else. So shout out to him for actually doing a mild attempt.
Yeah. Oh God.
But yeah, that the house breaks down and they go to fix it at this like
his motorcycle breaks down and they go to this house that fix it.
Yeah, the house that is like painted like a globe. It's like really colorful, and like there is kind of almost like a weird color palette to this movie, but I don't think there's a
it's
point
90s.
to it.
It's 90s.
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially to the repair house. A lot of the other houses look a bit more normal, but like the Kathy's house is it's
very plain
white
and generic.
Generic, yes. And apparently they like watching Super Mario Brothers 3, which is, good for them.
And listening to it all the time, too.
Fucking amazing. So he goes there and he sees a girl and he decides to stalk her a bit and steal her shit.
Well, first startle her and the horse she was riding and throw her from the horse.
I almost forgot. Oh my God.
That totally couldn't have killed her or anything like that.
Yeah, no, like, so he's coming up in the motorcycle and she's riding the horse and he's doing this cringy flirt thing. And then he launches his motorcycle over the fence in front of her on the horse and throws her off the horse. And it's like, holy fuck, dude.
Yeah, that totally couldn't have killed her.
Absolutely
at all.
not. Yeah, could have killed her, could have killed him, but I like when he's doing that stuff, I don't give a shit about him. I'm concerned about her.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And that's his introduction. See, God, yeah, no. The whole stories around this romance between him and her, which I do not care at all. Like she's dating another guy named Nick. Vanilla Ice throws some shade at him, and I'm sure it was very clever, and I'm sure he felt terribly burned. Nick is an asshole, but so is Vanilla Ice, who is Johnny. Ooh, this movie would have been better if it was played by if Johnny was played by Tommy Wiseau. I think.
Oh, absolutely.
We could fit it in the Rome universe.
Could you just picture him on that bike?
Oh yes. Jesus, like. At least Tommy Wiseau's line delivery is awful, but like it keeps you engaged because it's like, what the fuck is he saying?
I was wondering where you're going with that because I was gonna say, you think his line delivery was terrible? Mm-hmm. Did we not watch the same fucking movie?
Oh no. I that's the thing. So like between the two, I think both their deliveries is terrible, but I will take Tommy Wiseau in a heartbeat over Vanilla Ice because at least it's engaging when he does it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, everything about him in this movie was just really cringy.
Yeah, it's super cringe. Like, I'm pretty sure the arm of his jacket, which has all these expressions on it, the arm of it says like "sex me" or something.
Yes,
like
it
that,
does. Yes, it does.
Which is very classy. Like, boy, oh boy. Yeah, Burt from Tremors. We already brought him up.
And what I found funny is like there's all the subplot that they just kind of threw in there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole thing. So, like, we already brought up Michael Gross. He plays Gordon, who's Kathy's dad, but he's actually there's some guys after him, and he sees Vanilla Ice with those guys briefly and thinks they're in cahoots, and then he's telling the daughter not to see him. And it turns out he's in the witness protection program for being a clean cop that rat out some dirty cops, and those are his other cop partners there to get him. But fortunately, Vanilla Ice is there, and he can fight as long as they're careful with that editing and do a little bit quick cutting.
He's as cool as ice, and he knows karate.
Because I mean, the whole storyline, it's such a thin storyline. It's a romance. And then, like, her little brother gets kidnapped, and then it's established that Johnny can fight, and he goes and saves the brother because I guess the cops are crooked, but like if the cops are crooked, you're kind of fucked anyway. But um like he's in witness protection. Does he not have a contact in witness protection to contact about this?
Yeah,
But anyways,
can he call a Fed?
yeah, you would think. But no, he has to have Vanilla Ice go save his son, and then he's okay in his book, and then music video. And that's like the movie. Like
That is the movie.
That is
Like-
it. There's nothing else. This is shocking.
There's occasionally some bits that I think were intended to be comedic.
Yeah.
With Sydney and his wife and the motorcycle crew.
Yes.
But they were just kind of more of like padding.
Oh yeah. So like they go to fix the bike. And they're thinking they won't be there that long, but they end up stuck there because when he goes to fix the bike, he tears it all apart, like, down to every piece. Yeah, completely disassembled. And not only that, like organized, like putting it in like almost borderline original wrapping and shit.
I'm not like I'm not a mechanic or anything by any means, but I'm impressed with how clean that was and the lack of like fluids and oil and everything that would be inside of an engine.
Yeah, it looked like brand new bike parts in a brand new bike frame. It was impressive how he
I'm nitpicking. I know I'm nitpicking here, but
well, it goes to believability because like this movie is just hanging on a thread, and yeah, and when you're so bored watching a movie, nitpicking's about all you have. It is, oh my god. So they end up stuck there for a couple days so they can reassemble the bike that was busted. Great art. This movie's great art.
Oh god.
It won 8 Academy Awards the year it was released.
No, it didn't.
Shut up. It was beautiful. What are you talking about?
Yes, it did win you're right, I'm lying. It did win 1 Academy Award for Best Catering Department.
Ooh.
Best catering, that's about it.
Yeah. It did provide plenty of ham.
Oh god, this was just god awful.
Yeah, I mean he has like his 2 friends there, and then like Roscoe and the wife, I don't remember her name, but it doesn't matter. They're kind of just there to occasionally make a goofy face and do a dance pose, but like they aren't characters. Oh, what do we think of Johnny after he's told not to hang out with the girl, breaking into the house? Well, first of all, we have to address he breaks into her house twice.
Once while she's asleep.
Yes, so he can lay down next to her in bed and she can wake up next to him. Well, this is like the second or third time.
Still in his boots, and
they haven't even gone out on a date yet.
No.
Psycho behavior right there. And then at the end, when he's told not to go in there, he breaks in and then he throws one of his rings in her fish tank. I mean, he's just an asshole. Like, I mean, I guess his saving grace is that he can fight, which I don't believe for a second, but whatever.
That also reminded me of a South Park episode, the Jersey one, where they're so ignorant that they'll just convince themselves that you do like them, even when you really don't.
Yeah. This is so bad. I'm trying to think, is there anything positive in here? Like I said, I think the closest we get is like I think Michael Gross does an okay job, and that's about as close as we get to something decent in this movie. It's bad. I was looking it up, and the writer actually has a few credits to his name. He gets semi-regular work with much better projects than this, which wouldn't be high. Wouldn't be a big hurdle to cross. But the director has pretty much the other biggest movie he's done is the Inspector Gadget movie from the 90s with Matthew Broderick, which I haven't seen, but I've only heard bad things about. And then he largely just does TV commercials now. So I guess he's still getting work, so good for him. But yeah, this is a rough one. This is really rough. Maybe you can survive it better if you're a big fan of Vanilla Ice music, which I am not, but yeah. Yeah. Anything you want to add, Bobby?
No, this was bad.
It was really bad. But that gives us a chance to kind of segue into something else that I consider bad as well, but at least more entertainingly bad. But for a second, because I'm kind of mix these two together a bit, because Ironheart and M3GAN, I think, are interesting. These are the two new projects. They just came out very recently. And right now the internet's blowing up over Ironheart because apparently it's the worst thing ever created in the history of mankind. Sure. And we can go over some of those reviews because I actually think I found a couple that I think are kind of hilarious.
Do they give any legitimate criticism to it, or is it just more
no.
so blind rage baiting
yes,
anger?
That is absolutely what it is. And they're not being racist, don't worry. But
I wasn't going to say it, but I just kind of figured that was the case.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like 10 or maybe even 5 years ago, the YouTube won't have been would still be talked about Ironheart, but I feel like M3GAN 2 would have been a far bigger topic of discussion than it is now because it's been drowned out by the Ironheart noise. Which, I mean, no matter what you think of Ironheart, it's not offensive. It's not like it's not like I'm watching and think I'm watching like a fucking disaster or anything. And we'll get to more clear-cut points, but I thought it was fine. But M3GAN is a movie, M3GAN 2 specifically, is a movie where I would love to see the behind-the-scenes feature on this.
Yeah.
Because I don't even think I saw trailers walking into this, and I usually watch like a ton of trailers doing this, and I don't think I saw any of the trailers going into this, and I was pretty much caught off guard. Well, I guess we can get to the beginning because this movie opens in the Iran border or something like that. It doesn't matter, some Middle Eastern country.
Iranian. Yep.
Yeah. Where we have this person who's with a mask on, being captured and going to be executed by some evildoers. And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh shit, are we gonna do like M3GAN's in the Middle East and we have to go stop her? Because I'm kind of down for that. Let's go batshit with this.
Yeah, I was like, did they sell the design to the government? Like, what
are
we doing here?
Are we doing the Rambo 2 of M3GAN? Just because Rambo 2, not a great movie, but I do enjoy it. It's nothing compared to the first one, but I do enjoy it. But for a second, I'm like, M3GAN 2 is going to take that vibe, but unfortunately, no, because it's revealed that this masked person is actually a government robot called Amelia, and she's inspired by M3GAN from the government to essentially do their jobs, but she's going rogue. And I actually do think, personally, I think this movie would have been improved if instead of going for the Amelia angle, just have the government rebuild M3GAN and be like, hey, we've made a better one. She's like the super assassin or some shit. But yeah, they did not do that route.
Well, it also tied up a loose plot line from the first one.
Yes, it did.
And I was actually very happy about that because
I wasn't expecting that. Yeah.
They didn't go anywhere in the first one, and I was kind of like, well, I mean, the potential of that is great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do follow it up. Yeah,
and how they came out with it turning out to be the entire plot of this one, I actually liked that point. I thought that was great.
Yeah, for me, I think for me, there's a couple points where this falls flat. Although again, I think this is a bad movie, but I also don't hate it. Like, I think let's be real. This is not cool as ice. This is okay. Well, as far as a watching experience, M3GAN is suddenly a good guy. Nobody believes she's a good guy because we have like pretty much all our returning cast, but like nobody believes she's a good guy, but she is pretty much a good guy throughout this entire movie.
Yeah.
and she's on a hunt for Amelia, and it's kind of giving me Terminator vibes. And frankly, I'll be honest, like, this was not a horror movie. This was an action movie. And I think that's part of where it really falls flat for me, because I did not find the action memorable really at all.
Parts of it I did.
Yeah. Maybe the bit where she jumped out the building I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, the wingsuit stuff was pretty awesome.
Yeah, but like for the most part, I could pass on it. But it really just feels like this thing's going off the rails for me. And I'm not expecting great heart from M3GAN, but I do want to know what was the process in creating this. Like,
well, I feel that studio involvement definitely happened with this.
Mm-hmm.
And like they tinkered with it. They wanted it to be more of an action, and they really kind of like opened it on a bad weekend for movies in this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, maybe that's why they pushed it for a summer release as opposed to a closer to October, because it's not really a horror. It's more of an
it's definitely
genre.
an action. Yeah.
I feel that it worked a little bit better as a horror movie.
I think they should have leaned more into the horror.
But
absolutely.
In the sense of the story, I don't know how much further they could have gone with it to make it a horror movie. Other than just M3GAN gets rebooted as a government agent and then decides that she needs to kill Gemma.
Well, that's the thing. So
Gemma, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So I feel like it, like the third act reveal, I feel like they throw out this pot, like Gemma thinks there's a possible thing where M3GAN is the actual person controlling Amelia, and this is all her complex plan to get her body back and get like kind of resurrected and be kind of in control. And I feel like that was probably one of the early and probably one of the stronger suggestions for how this story would go. And instead, it's revealed that no, M3GAN's still the good guy, and the Christian dude who's
Christian,
yeah.
His name is Christian.
His name is douchebag, but he is the real villain.
When they were talking all about it, I was like, or this dude who seems to be relatively calm with all of these revelations.
Yeah.
Like, that seems suspicious to me, how calm he seemed about all the revelations of everything. And going, Gemma, I don't trust this fucking guy.
Yeah.
I agree with M3GAN. I don't trust this dude. Like,
no, not at all.
No, M3GAN was right. You could do better.
Absolutely. Holy shit. Yeah, Christian. Well, Christian is the one who pretty much ends up being like the main villain, which is really weak sauce. I like when the twist
you thought it
seemed like
you first thought it was going to be Jermaine Clement, or what was that Clement?
Which, by the way, I'm always happy to see him in the movies. He's awesome.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Concords, but I like him as an actor.
Yeah.
I think he is hilarious.
I think he has great stream presence, and when he wants to tell a joke, holy shit.
Yeah, but even in this, he was just like such an evil, like rich, smarmy douchebag.
Oh, of course, yeah. Unfortunately, he doesn't last long. He's one of the few body counts in this movie, because I guess there's lots of generic people who die, but like as far as noteworthy
principal players,
nobody. Outside bad guys, pretty much, because this is an action movie. It like he even has Cole like doing the thing where he's crawling through the ducts, which is just like, okay, I guess somebody saw Die Hard. And again, like, I want to know the thought process. How did this movie get made? And I want to stress, I'm not expecting great art from M3GAN 2, because M3GAN 1 was just a silly horror movie.
Well, it's like I told you with M3GAN 2 or M3GAN 1. You know the type of movie it is within the first 5 minutes of that movie.
Yeah, that's true.
It's usually like the Perpetual Pets ad. Yeah, it tells you the exact type of movie this is. Like, when I watched it, I was like, okay, it's one of this. Okay, this is the type of movie it is. I'm here for it.
Yeah. Well, what was your thoughts on this, Bobby? Because I've mostly given my opinion. What do you think? I feel like you're more positive than I am, but it's not.
I enjoyed it for the most part. I wish it was a little bit more of a horror than action.
Yes. I think that's my biggest thing. I feel like it leaned action, and I
can
didn't like the
lean
action.
past that because for the story and it worked. It worked for me.
Yeah, I definitely. I'm not as.
I mean, it had all the hits of everything I was wanting it to have. Like as cheesy as it sounds, I wanted it to have another moment of her singing.
Yes,
and
I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't.
There wasn't many.
Kate Bush. I was like, holy shit.
There wasn't many people in my theater, but everyone was laughing at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also wasn't expecting it to be a Kate Bush song, but I was like, okay, I'm here.
A Kate Bush song that's not Running Up That Hill, because that's the song they always use for everything. But it's it's like, holy shit, we're doing a bit more of a deep dive. Okay,
we're getting a deep Kate Bush cut. All right. And she just silenced her. Shh, I'm sitting. I'm having my moment.
That was probably one of my favorite moments, because it was just. It was like, okay, this is kind of batshit. I'm kind of here for it. So
and I was like, okay, well, at least it still knows what type of movie it is. Yeah. And that's why I think I still appreciated it, because it had those moments that I felt were so over the top and campy. And this, I felt the dance sequence was a little forced.
Oh, very much forced. Yeah. The dance.
It was one of the most memorable moments of the first one. So I knew there was going to be one in there.
Yeah, and it definitely felt like they're like, okay, everybody loved the dance sequence in the first one. Like me, I loved it too, because it was just so, okay, what the fuck are we doing? I love it. But then, this one, felt forced, and I don't have too much else to say. It sometimes it's playing the greatest hits, and sometimes it's just reinventing the what it was doing. And again, it's not like it's not like the first one was great art. I enjoy it, but it's not like, it's this bold piece of horror. I wanted it to lean more horror, or maybe even more ridiculous. Like I said, I was almost down when I thought they were going to do M3GAN Rambo. Where they have to go to the Middle East and fight her. Just like, oh, okay, that sounds stupid. Let's do it. But I also thought it was still going to be a horror movie at that point, too. I will say, while I don't think I would recommend this in the theater, I would say if you do really like the first one, maybe wait for this one to hit streaming and take a gummy.
Yeah.
Have some fun with it.
I snuck a THC beverage into my theater.
Yeah, there you go. No wonder you liked it more. No wonder.
I'll admit, I almost spit take during the song. I was like, it's coughing up a lung, just laughing.
But the fact is, listen, I watched Ironheart. I enjoyed it. I haven't thought massively about it since I saw it.
Well,
other than
I haven't much, but I did think about one plot point that they did talk a lot about, and they even brought up in M3GAN. And it was the danger of AI.
Yes.
And now this is something that they're just scraping the surface of in Ironheart right now. But with M3GAN, they talked about how the dangers of AI is that one day it'll just realize that it doesn't need humanity.
Well, I do think that's they do that, but I also feel like AI is not the point that people think. They call it AI. It's not really. It's software that we've always used, and it is just because it's
programmed algorithm software. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. It is not nearly as intelligent as people like to give it credit for. In fact, it's quite stupid.
Well, we got a comment back here. Hold on. I'm trying to find it. Somebody came in. Oh, here it is. Nike did. Nike had said that, hey guys, the most recent movie they saw was Mission Impossible. Asked if we saw it.
Oh, yeah, we covered it on the podcast.
It sucked. I fucking hated it.
I'm not as negative towards it, but I am done with Tom Cruise. I want this.
I do
want the franchise to end.
And I'm tired of giving him chances, but I only watch him because this guy makes me watch him.
I am cruel. I am cruel.
It's like that scene in A Clockwork Orange, how he gets me to watch Tom Cruise movies. I'm screaming the whole time, like, no, for the love of God, no.
Oh,
let's see. Blumhouse needs to do something to put it above us. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
And M3GAN 2 is not going to be it, but
no, but well, the thing with Blumhouse is that they have had a fairly all right track record when it comes to the horror genre.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like
sure.
they've had a.
It's not perfect, but they got some.
They've had a decent run. I almost want to say like an almost Dimension Films type of run with it. Not as many hits as Dimension Films because there's all like like the Scream movie, the early Scream movies were all Dimension movies. That's like 1, 2, 3, and I think 4. Or no, the reboot not the reboot, but the Halloween H2O and Resurrection, which we just won't talk about Resurrection. Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky were both Dimension, and I think a few Carpenter movies. I think he did vampires as well, or they did vampires as well. But yeah, I don't know. Blumhouse, like I said, they're okay. With it. I feel that they're one of the newer other studios today that is putting out at least decent contributions to the horror genre.
For sure, yeah.
A24 is doing another just all right contribution. I feel that they want to lean more into art house, and when you're more focused on your movie looking pretty and all of that, you take away from the elements of what make horror, and that's the atmosphere.
Yeah, and I think you can do both, but like, you don't want to.
I think the biggest thing I could use as an example of what I mean by that is like in Midsommar. Like, okay, cool, yes, visually that looks beautiful. Everything is great. The horror stuff I feel is just kind of tucked neatly into the background until it fully takes shape. But the whole time you're more focused on, look how beautiful this movie looks. Look at how vibrant and bright and colorful it is. Look how scary this is, but look how colorful. And it takes it away from me.
Yeah.
And in that case, I would rather just want to watch The Wicker Man and be done with it. And for the record, the original Wicker Man, not
Nicolas Cage. Come on.
Well, I mean, if I want to watch any good Nicolas Cage movie, I'm just going to watch Just Bitten. Or what was the vampire movie he was in? Was that it? Just Bitten?
Something like that. I want to say.
Or The Vampire's Kiss.
Oh, I think it's Vampire's Kiss. Yes, that sounds better.
It was one or the other. No, Just Bitten was Jim Carrey. That's right.
That's right. Yes.
That's right. Yes.
But yeah. Yeah, as I was saying, I think you can do pretty horror, just don't take away from the atmosphere, because that is a huge part of what makes horror.
And like with the Wolfman, they didn't do that with it. They toned a lot of it back, and they made so much of it, since it's happening at night in the shadows.
Yeah,
that added to the atmosphere of horror, and that's one thing that made it really good, in my opinion.
But yeah, so I feel like there's I haven't thought too much about Ironheart. There, I definitely have stuff to say about. But since I saw M3GAN, this thing has been on my mind, because it's just like, the fuck, like, how did this happen? How was this made? Like, I would never watch the first M3GAN movie and be like, I'm gonna write a sequel, and it's gonna be an action movie that's gonna borrow heavily from Terminator 2. It's like, what? And we're gonna force the original characters in there. They don't really have roles, but they're gonna be in there. Why not? Yeah, I feel like there's so much more to discuss about this, and I feel like the internet 10 or 5 years ago would have discussed that, but instead, kind of to show how we've degraded, the internet is now focused on Ironheart, which, I mean, I'll go ahead and say, I think this is a decent show so far. I think the first episode has some very clunky exposition, but since then, it's kind of grown on me. I wasn't even sure what I would think, because I am not a fan of Wakanda Forever. As much as I love Ryan Coogler, I think Wakanda Forever had too much shit behind the scenes that kind of wrecked that movie. But coming into this, I was like, okay, I'm not sure what I think. I like Dominique Thorne as Riri Williams. I like Anthony Ramos as Parker Robbins, and I like who else? Alden Ehrenreich as Stone. Stone. Sorry, as Joe, aka Ezekiel Stain, and we can get more into that as we go. I think as part of the crew, I think I don't know why it's listed that way, but it's Shea Coulee is probably the most noteworthy part of the gang. Otherwise, the gang's pretty not noteworthy. But Bobby, what are your overall broad thoughts on this one?
I don't know. So far, I like it. I still feel it's too early for me to make a real call on it.
That is true. I will say one thing. I will
3 episodes in, we're just barely starting to scratch the surface.
Yes, and one thing I will add before we so Nerdrotic has been driving me nuts because he keeps on saying Mephisto's gonna be in this, and I don't know who his source is, but he's wrong on everything. So I've just been saying, what's your evidence? You have nothing. And then after watching the first 3 episodes, I would say, yeah, there's pretty strong evidence that even if Mephisto's not in this, there's definitely stuff leading Mephisto in this. So I do think there's going to be some sort of lead up to that. So God damn it, Nerdrotic's right on one thing and wrong.
Has he been praising it, or
no? He's been shitting on this nonstop.
And why does he give a shit who's in it or not?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's almost like these guys are full of shit.
Well, I know that they are. Just like,
well, I guess if we want to talk about some of the hatred this show is getting. One thing we can judge real quick is the IMDb rating of 3.6, I believe. Yes, 3.6, which is just barely a little bit higher than Cool as Ice, which is just ridiculous. This is not anywhere near that. We can go over some of the bad reviews.
I might have a theory. Maybe it's because the majority of the characters and cast are not white, and the only one that is a white guy is a bumbling idiot.
What? But you know what? Here, let's get into some of these nuanced, thoughtful reviews here. Because here's one of the 1 of 10 reviews on IMDb. The moral of the show is you don't have to earn anything. Riri is amazing, apparently because everyone says so. But why? Nobody knows. Just keep saying she's amazing and it'll stick. She didn't even earn the suit. She's not strong, funny, or cool. She just feels like an NPC who stumbled upon a scalper lying on the floor and claims she's the king of the world. She helps her fellow students cheat on their tests and projects, seeking her out just to use her to not fail. So she didn't earn anything, and she's surrounded by people who didn't earn anything. In fact, everyone is just ripping off everyone else, just like Ironheart is a ripoff of Iron Man. Pretty harsh review from Bruno Santos. But let's go ahead and look at this other review. This is a review from Kale90. The moral of this show is you don't have to earn anything. Riri is amazing, apparently, because everyone says so. But why? Nobody knows. Just keep saying she's amazing and it'll stick. She didn't earn the suit. She's not strong, funny, or cool. She just feels like an NPC who stumbled upon a scalper lying on the floor and claims she's the king of the world. Are we sensing gaslighting here?
Yeah, a little bit.
Just I don't know, maybe change a couple words if you're going to log into multiple accounts and just post the same thing over and over again.
That's kind of pathetic.
Yes. Well, that's the thing. These guys get so enraged over this stuff. And it's I'm sorry, if Ironheart, it's fine if you dislike this series. That is fine. But if you get offended by this, if in your soul you find this offensive, the very existence of this offensive, then at best you're a snowflake, at worst you're a racist or a sexist or just a bigot, and most likely you're both. And let's face it, when I say bigot, you're a snowflake too, because those guys are all fucking the biggest snowflakes in the world. But yeah, this series is it's like I said, the biggest critique I'd give is how the exposition in the first episode really is very clunky. When she's leaving, she's expelled from MIT after an accident where one of her professors is hurt. But she's able to take the suit she made with her grant money when she leaves, which is explained because she made it. It's not a suit from Wakanda though, because if you remember Wakanda Forever, she wasn't allowed to take anything from there. So she essentially has to make stuff from scratch with very little resources because she's not a billionaire like Tony Stark. And she wants to make a suit inspired by Tony Stark, but make it kind of her own, but she needs money. So she joins up with a group of criminals who promise that they aren't going to harm anybody. They are sus, but she's kind of desperate for money. And she's like, okay, we'll give this a shot. And she's learning what a mistake that was. It's almost like it's a hero's arc or some shit, right? Yeah. I actually think this is decent. I want to see where it wraps up. The first episode's clunky. I will also say this character of Xavier, who I think's been in every single episode. I don't like, he's one of her friends, but I can't really tell you too much about him because for some reason, like, my brain just turns off when it gets to that point, and maybe it's just not engaging or something, but that part of the story is not engaging me at all. The story about her trying to make money for the suit. I think Natalie is kind of interesting. It's obviously a replacement for the original, which was Tony Stark, which obviously they can't do because of Robert Downey Jr., which I'm sure he would ask a butt ton of money to do this. But it's kind of interesting. I think she's kind of an interesting inclusion to the story. But yeah, I think pretty much all the critiques, the big critiques I'm seeing of this are largely kind of bullshit, and very few people are actually levying real critiques on this show, which is very frustrating. Bobby, what do you think?
Well, like I said, it's too early for me to call. As of right now, I like it. I'm not a fan of the main antagonist. I just think he's a clunky actor.
And that's just for the record, I like him. Bobby and I disagree.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. We can disagree. It's okay for chaos to be wrong. That's fine. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yeah, I mean, and it's just, like I said, I just think he's kind of clunky, and just I don't buy anything from him. He's not believable. I can just tell that he's reading lines, and that's about it. And that's just a me thing. Other than that, I like the whole cast. Like, they're all great. Just when I saw him, I was like, oh shit. But that's about it. I just deal with it and go on, because I'm not going to make a big deal about it or base my whole opinion off the show off of one tiny little thing like that.
Well, don't you want to bash the whole show forever and ever?
I mean, if it's profitable,
repost negative reviews on IMDb nonstop.
I mean, if it's profitable, yeah, absolutely.
Oh no, you're not going to make a dime. You're actually going to make other people money.
Yeah. But I do like the introduction of Ezekiel Stain. I like where
I thought that was very interesting.
And how different he is than his father.
Yes. I like, at first, like, when they introduce him, I think in the first episode he's introduced, which I want to say is the second episode. He's just Joe, and we don't really know too much about him. And then we discover his dad is Obadiah Stane, and like, he has no respect for his dad. Like, she stumbles into this bag and she's like, what the fuck is in this bag? It looks weird. And he's like, oh, that's dad. And he keeps his dad's ashes in like this Ziploc bag in his kitchen, and it's like, so he keeps him around, but he doesn't respect him at all. And he, that's part of the reason why, like, she's coming to him to help her, like, figure out like a lot of the nuances of her tech. And he's not thrilled about working on this type of stuff because of his father. Yeah, which I think is a really interesting thing, kind of potential redemption. Will he turn villain? Will he kind of redeem the Stain name? I think there's lots of potential for his character, and I think he's really interesting. I think Alden Ehrenreich is doing a great job. I wasn't thrilled with his performance as Solo, but like here, I think he's doing a really good performance. Yeah, I think there's an interesting story here, and I do want to see where it wraps up, but I'm enjoying it. Once you get past episode 1, which again I thought was a little clunky, I feel like episode 2 and 3, once we get more into the criminal aspect and getting more into her hero's origin, I think it's interesting. And yes, she is doing some morally questionable stuff, just like pretty much every other superhero. Just like Batman and Batman Begins. Just like freaking Spider-Man going to the wrestling match and letting the fucking burglar run past him because it's not his problem. All heroes have a tragic story that follows them. And yeah, that is another thing. So 2 critiques I've seen that drive me insane. Is when the one guy at the end of episode 3 is trying to kill her, and they're like almost dying because while he's trying to kill her, they're also suffocating in this room. And the suit, piloted by Natalie, swoops in, grabs her out, and then leaves him. And everybody's saying, "Oh my God, left him to die." And it's like, okay, number 1, he was trying to kill her. Number 2, Riri had no control of what the suit does. The suit was kind of on autopilot. And number 3, how many fucking people did fucking Tony Stark kill? Like a lot. Come on. But then the other one that really enraged me was when so she's during their second heist, Riri's getting very suspicious of Parker Anthony Ramos. So she goes to sneak. She puts her suit on AI to do her job, and she goes and sneaks off and kind of follows him to cut off a piece of his hood, which appears to have some sort of magical properties, just to examine it and see what's up with it. She doesn't have her suit, and she's like a level below him. She can, there's like a grating so she can see through and get a piece of the suit. But like, essentially, while she's doing that, he disappears and kills the guy he's talking to. And I've seen people blaming Riri for not saving that guy. And I'm like, she doesn't have her suit. She's a level away, and it happens pretty fucking fast. What do you expect her to do? He would just kill her. Yeah, some of the critiques of this show I just think they're just terrible. And it's like, and it's all for outrage bait. And it's very frustrating because it's like, can we just talk about this show as a show without getting all outraged about every fucking element? Not every hero is more. Do you think billionaire Tony Stark especially at the beginning of Iron Man, is the most moral person in the world? Because that's part of his arc. The same thing with fucking Doctor Strange. Holy shit. Is that a hero story where he's driving down the freeway like a maniac, putting everybody's life at risk?
No, not really.
Yeah, it's all part of the hero story where they're doing. Yes, they do sus stuff, and it's kind of they learn the hard way. That's how heroes operate.
Well, even where Tony was selling weapons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, hell, I would actually argue at this point, I find Riri more sympathetic than Tony Stark or Doctor Strange at similar points in their arc.
I would think the only one who has always been morally good from the beginning has been Steve Rogers.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's because Captain America is fucking awesome.
That's because he's Captain fucking America. That's why.
Honestly, you could say the same thing about Sam Wilson too, which is why he's also Captain America.
Yeah. But we didn't see a scrawny Sam Wilson standing up to a dude 2 times his size.
True. But
still wanting to fight after all that.
Yes. But yeah, I'm enjoying this. I want to see where it turns out. But yeah, I'm enjoying this. I think that's all I have to say. Anything you want to add, Bobby?
No, I'm excited to see where this goes.
Yes. I know. We have polls up. There's a podcast poll for Schneiderverse. I believe that's still up? Let me see.
Yeah, I don't think that got. I meant to plug that before tapping out last week, but
let me see.
I'm not sure if you had plugged it or not.
No, I haven't done anything about it. I usually leave polls up.
Shame on you! How dare you besmirch the good name of Rob Schneider?
Good.
Well, let's see here. We are still sitting at 7 votes, and it looks like it's going to be a tie as of right now between The Chosen One and Big Stan, and Surf Ninjas coming in second, and Daddy Daughter Trip rounding up the third place spot.
Go to the there's a post in mine and the podcast chat. Follow that link and you can vote on what Snyderverse movie we go over. I should also have a new comic book poll up for my Thursday stream. And I will have to bring that up as well.
Next week.
Oh my God! And this comic book poll is, I guess there's 4 votes. Everything's got 1, so it's anybody's game at this point on the comic book poll.
Well, we didn't decide what would happen in the event of a tie, but we still got some time before it. Because I'm going to call this one on July 21st. But I guess we can discuss it now. So, in the event of a tie, do you just want to add both to the show that day?
That's a lot of Schneider.
That is a lot of Schneider, yeah. But look at that. Look at it this way: we will be wrapped up with the Schneiderverse quicker.
Let's see. I don't want to commit to that, but I will say it is a possibility.
I mean, next week though, we do have in honor of 4th of July. We have another entry from Bobcat Goldthwait, another written and directed movie called God Bless America. And this is one that I've been waiting for us to do because I love this movie.
Yeah,
for the same reasons I loved World's Greatest Dad. Just the dark humor in it.
I saw this movie getting released, and that's what got me interested in Bobcat Goldthwait. And so I watched World's Greatest Dad, but I never did get around to watching this one. So I'm excited to watch this one.
And we also have the summer classic Jaws,
which is just this year celebrating its 50th anniversary. So I'm excited about that one.
And we also have another franchise that's humping off to the grave that a studio is going to bleed until it's dead.
Oh God, yes. It doesn't matter how good a cast it is. It is.
At least Chris Pratt's not in this one.
True. I will give it that. I do. I like Mahershala Ali. I like Scarlett Johansson, but I don't have high hopes for that at all. Not at all. But we'll see. Maybe it'll surprise me. It's not going to.
It won't. It won't. It's gonna be bad. I already know it's gonna be bad.
And And
the second that I saw that they created their own dinosaur for it. Is when I knew it was going to be bad.
I'll tell you, the only way I could see it being saved, and the only way to continue this franchise, and I don't know why they haven't done this, is just lean into the B movie aspect. Just do a fun 90-minute dinosaur monster story.
Or I don't know, maybe sticking more accurately to the book.
Well, I mean, they've already covered the 2 books, and not accurately, but yes.
No, because I believe it's been a while since I've read it, but I do recall in the first one that Muldoon was smuggling raptors back, or raptor eggs.
Oh God, it's been a while. I don't remember that though.
I believe that's because he lived. He didn't die.
Yes.
In the book.
Yeah, Muldoon lives.
Yeah,
the lawyer lives. Muldoon lives. Hammond dies.
He
Malcolm
gets
dies. He gets retconned. Yeah,
but he gets eaten by raptors, doesn't he, Hammond?
No, it's little Compiosaurus, the little guys from the beginning of the second movie. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, but yeah, so like the lawyer actually gets like a hero's arc in like the first book, where he like at first he's looking at the mummy aspect and he starts learning, we got to fight these things. These things are dangerous. We need to shut this place down. He gets like a hero's arc where in the movie he's just eating off a toilet. But yeah, and in case you're wondering, we will wrap up Ironheart, but it'll be in 2 weeks, so you'll have to wait. But yeah, we actually have a couple weeks that are kind of exciting. Maybe Rebirth will be good. I have no hope. But maybe.
It won't. You know it's going to be bad.
Yeah, but we got Superman after that, and I am excited to check that out.
I am too.
The trailers look good. Yes, some wonky special effects, but the trailer, I feel like they got the spirit of the character down. Yeah.
I've seen some criticisms on them, and the one criticism I've heard mostly is just, it's too bright and colorful. That's not Superman.
That's a Snyder bro criticism, man. Holy shit.
Well, it's funny. I had made that reply to somebody who had said that. And they go like, well, come on, why does everyone want to hate on the Snyderverse? Probably because it sucked.
Yeah. Because the dude had no idea how to do. He cared less about superheroes than he cared about making the shot look pretty from his perspective.
And he has too much of a hard on for slow motion.
God, yes. And it's like I wanted to give Man of Steel more of a chance, but like after fucking Batman v Superman, I was like, God, this franchise is fucking cooked.
Well, he tried to go too deep with them, and DC just saw money signs when they saw how good Marvel was doing, but they didn't follow the Marvel formula.
Mm-hmm.
Which honestly, at this point, I think what I think would make a better one is if they rebooted all those like those comics that were from like the newspaper. So Dick Tracy, the Phantom, the Shadow.
That could be fun.
And all of them do a team up.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see what James Gunn does, because James Gunn is, I mean,
for the most part, he understands the subject matter.
Yes.
And from what I've read in interviews, he's not as familiar with Superman, but he also wasn't that familiar with Guardians when he started.
Mm-hmm. And let's face it, the Guardians movies are better than most of the Guardians comics. I've read it.
And let's be real though, he did take the time and bought a shit ton of Guardian books when he got the job.
Yes.
He did his homework.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the thing, like, you know, it's a popular take nowadays that I've heard people say that the Marvel movies are something that needs to be given a rest. Now, okay, that's fair. The oversaturation of the market has happened with it, but I think that the good thing about that is with Marvel movies is they have a quite literal well of source material to dive into.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a great thing because it has endless bounds of just possible storylines, connections, things that they can make.
Mm-hmm.
Like they could do so much more with it, and they have the depth of source. Like I said, they have so much source material to go off of.
Yeah,
they could do countless ones, countless reboots, countless that. And sure, like the average movie-going audience will just roll their eyes at that, but you know, you can beat a franchise to death like they're doing with other ones, Jurassic Park, Mission Impossible.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think with like Marvel especially, and even DC, there's like just so much that they can do.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just, I think people underestimate it or overlook it and just see it as like, you know, stupid fanfare.
I do think DC made a terrible choice with putting Zack Snyder in charge of their fucking universe to begin with. Because I understand being like, hey, Marvel has this huge successful universe. Let's do the same thing. And it's like, yeah, you guys have that same of material that Marvel has. You have like the same thing. It's different characters, but it's the same fucking thing. And I would argue in a lot of ways, Superman and Batman are more prolific in the culture than most Marvel characters outside of possibly Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And Wonder Woman. Like I would say Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman are like three of the most recognizable superheroes ever. People who don't read comic books recognize them on sight.
Yeah.
So they had that well, but they were too eager to rush in. And it's like, you know, you can take your time, do good movies, or at least decent movies. Because the thing to keep in mind, Marvel Phase 1 was not like perfect. There was Iron Man 2, Incredible Hulk, Thor,
Dark World.
Yeah, well, that's Phase 2, but yeah, it's
Thor
they're not perfect.
Thor was a bit of a misfire, but
yeah,
it's better than the sequel.
Yeah, and I will take all of those before Batman v Superman.
I think that they should have DC should have tried to pull the trigger and get this started while Nolan movies were on, and had that and had Christian Bale's Batman carry into that, because I think that hurt it with a lot of people wanting that Batman into it. But Nolan had to be Nolan, and this Batman stands on his own. There is no other ones.
Well, I mean, even if you don't have that
because
Nolan,
I'm Christopher Nolan, and everything is unique because I'm Christopher Nolan.
Well, I thought even if you don't have access to that, okay, you made Man of Steel. What you could do is, since you have this Green Arrow TV show that is fairly popular, on that show have an episode where they're like, hey, there was a big fight in Metropolis where these big superpowered aliens, and suddenly now you have a universe. You can quickly get into a universe now where you have Green Arrow, Flash, and Superman established, and then start working from there. But no, we gotta keep the movies and
we
TV
gotta cast him with who's hot, man. We gotta cast him with who's hot. That's what's important.
Yeah, we gotta get Ezra Miller in here.
Honestly, someone who I thought would have been a better casting choice for Aquaman would have been God, what's his name? The other lead in Twisters. The guy, the cowboy dude.
Oh shit. Glenn Powell?
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been bad. Well, actually, I think that was kind of funny.
I think just why I thought Momoa was a shitty choice is he doesn't look anything like the source material.
Well, he gives me vibes of the 90s version of Aquaman, but I do think Momoa is a much better fit for fucking Lobo, which makes so much more sense.
Yeah, but I just think it's just going to be your average audience goer isn't going to understand why he's playing why he's playing a bad guy now, which is also why I felt it was a shit choice to cast him as Aquaman, and now an even shittier choice to cast him as Lobo. They should have just cast him as Lobo to begin with.
No, true, but
that's just my 2 cents.
That was one of the things. Like Aquaman 2 was a wreck, but one of the things I thought was wild in it was I thought Patrick Wilson was doing a better, like more accurate.
Oh my god, yes,
Aquaman than fucking Jason Momoa was, who was actually playing Aquaman, which is like, oh my god.
Yeah, how is Patrick Wilson? Well, I know how he's out acting Jason Momoa. Jason can't act.
He's gotten better. But yeah. Listen, I saw him in Stargate Atlantis. He was miserable in that, I'll be honest, and he's gotten better.
You actually sat through Stargate Atlantis?
Oh. Yeah, that series had potential, and it
was that the one with Ted? Was that the one with Ted Raimi? Or am I thinking of something else?
No, I don't think he was in a Stargate show. He was in some sci-fi series at that time, though. I don't remember what, though.
Was it Gattaca? No, it wasn't Gattaca.
You've got me wondering now.
We
are so off course, but we're having fun. But I'm trying to remember. God, Ted Raimi.
I got it.
There was a sci-fi show he was in.
Sequest.
Oh, shit, yeah.
DSV.
So I gave up on Sequest after like a few episodes. I wanted to like that, but no.
No, I remember because I also had sharks with laser beams.
Sharks with freaking laser beams.
Yeah. But I mean, it also had the immortal Ted Raimi in it, and like right there.
I mean,
it already has like you have a guaranteed viewer in me.
It has a Roy Scheider and Ted Raimi, which even if I don't like the show, those guys are awesome.
For a guy who hates Jaws, I'm surprised he took that role.
Yeah, true.
Like for a guy who hates to talk about it.
Really? I didn't know that.
Is it him or Dreyfuss who hates to talk about it? It's one of them.
I don't know. It won't, like listen. I don't actually know, but I want to lean towards Dreyfuss because I know Dreyfuss is a shithead. I kind of wish I'd seen it, but like he was at the Cincinnati Comic Expo a few years ago, and we weren't able to get to it because we didn't have time because I wanted to cover it. And I heard stories about essentially he went in there preaching like, he's like a classical liberal and, we need, and like fucking Dave Rubin shit. And it was just like, oh my God. And yeah, Comic Expo attendees were not having it. They were pissed at him.
I mean, like your base there is 50-50 for that market, but no, more I'd say like more 60-40.
Yeah, I mean, listen, man, the more conservative leaning nerd market does exist, but they're very loud on the internet. But I don't think they do conventions that often because I honestly, with a lot of them, I don't feel like they're actual fans. They just like to bitch about it,
Yeah, it's profitable.
Yes. I think that we've been done with the show for a few minutes. So I guess we should probably wrap up. But
yeah, we should maybe.
But yeah, guys, thank you for joining us. Like and subscribe. The algorithm stuff. Party on. Be excellent to each other.
Take care.